All right, so I just kind of, we press and record and we just gonna move with it. Twitter got blown up, leaving a spot where I work out at, and I mean Twitter's just blown up. So I did some sort of research to kind of go into what's going down right now, and basically what's being reported according to Deadline is that the deal had ended or has ended between Sony and Marvel Studios. Now, Sony had control over Spider-Man as well as a bunch of villains. And what ended up happening is that they essentially loaned it. Think of it like that to Marvel Studios. Now, it appears that deal has sort of fell off, and I don't know if they couldn't reach another deal or what have you. But what's being reported is that, or the deal didn't get extended. But what's being reported and what it's starting to sound like almost is that because they retain the rights and they can do whatever the hell it is they want with this character, he's out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Basically, he needs Sony consent, if you will, to bring him into their universe. So it's like he's out. Now, a lot of people were asking about my thoughts on that and what that means. And here's where I'm at with it. I've done numerous videos. I've done a bunch of coverage regarding the character and how I'm not really that fond of the Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man because of, he just really became this sort of guy that was clinging on to Tony Stark. It's almost like Tony Stark replaced Uncle Ben. So from a guy that reads a lot of these comic books, it's just a little weird for me to watch and how he's been handled. And I have to say that because I know a lot of people are going to go to those videos and be like, well, you don't want to see him in this universe. This is why you don't care about this. This is why you're not mad or anything like that. And I'm not going to hot side. That's part of it. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't like him to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I wouldn't want a Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I just didn't like this version of him. And I may be a lot more fond of Sony's depiction of Spider-Man than a lot of other people are. And that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. I have long conceded that this character is meant to appeal to normies, not people that are knowledgeable on the source material, not people that are knowledgeable on the character outside of anything they've Googled really fast or outside of maybe a cartoon or anything like that. They just know his suit and the fact that he's a web slinger. So that's fine to them. And I understand because that is the case, they can make all of these drastic changes with a lot of characters and it's going to be fine because the people that it appeals to, they'll eat it up regardless. So my thing is that it's been a goofy kind of character, and I want people that also maybe side with me on that to take into consideration what this may mean. Now, I personally do not know if this means, like, look, I don't know the details of the deal. When they got Spider-Man, was it specific to Peter Parker? I know they got villains as well, talking Sony that is. But when they got Spider-Man, did that mean they got like Spider-Man's likeness? And so that means all the other Spider-Man affiliated characters, Silk, everybody's favorite joke tokenized character in Miles Morales that everybody loves, which is nothing but a Peter Parker, a rescan Peter Parker. The current run of Miles Morales Spider-Man is a terrible book, but everybody loved their the Spider-Verse movie, so I already knew he kind of shot up there in terms of people wanting to see him in a live action version of him, no matter that he's a completely unoriginal character. They don't give a shit like that. Remember, diversity, representation, all of the buzz terms that you guys care about. So I don't know what that means. I thought that he was going to be, it was a no-brainer that they were going to put him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe anyway, considering the direction that they're going. You got a bunch of tokenized characters that are popping up. You got Captain Marvel. You got Jane Foster Store. So you're getting a lot of these knockoffs of previously established other characters. So I thought that was going to be a goofy character they were going to bring in anyway. But if, again, and people in the comments, if you know about this, feel free to drop that so you can let myself know as well as the other readers if you're familiar with this deal and if that means that they can't use Miles either, but I think that that's just the door was already open. Now it's wide the fuck open that they're going to be bringing him in if they can't use him anymore. Now the continuity is the obvious thing. Now my thing is, I think a deal is going to still get reached at some point. They're going to figure this shit out. You know, money talks. They'll figure this shit out. One way, shape, or form. But if they don't figure it out, could you imagine the continuity errors that this creates? This is going to be a fucking mess. Because it's almost one of those things where if they can't even mention him, they can't drop his name, they can't acknowledge his existence. I mean, you're talking about drastic changes that have to be made to the entire fucking thing. If the deal is like that, in which they can't even bring the motherfucker up, that's gonna be interesting. I'm almost wanting that to happen to see what creative way that they're gonna have to come up with to explain his existence or lack thereof going forward. This is gonna be an interesting take for sure. So we'll see. We'll really see. But that's where I'm at. I never was a fan. Well, I don't want to say I never was a fan. Let me. I don't want to say it's not fair to say. I just noticed how weird this guy was, certainly considering the last movie, how weird this version of Spider-Man was. And the fact he's still clinging on to Tony, man, it's just so fucking weird when you have a character that massive and that important looking up to Tony Stark. This is why I'm so reluctant for them. And I don't praise the idea that they want to bring in a Fantastic Four for a similar reason, that I think if they don't bring them in existing, let's say, in another universe on their own, then they have to kind of segue them in. And then that means that we get weird shit like Reed Richards looking up to Bruce Banner or something stupid like that. I can't handle that. I'm gonna tell you right now. I told you I was about to throw my chicken strips at the television screen or the movie theater, screen. Watching Captain Marvel, I'll be throwing way more than chicken strips if they did that, right? But you take a character like that's big and he stands on his own. He's Spider-Man. He's the most popular character, and then you kind of nullify him and have him looking up to Tony Stark, and that from a guy that again is knowledgeable on the source material. That's weird. And there's gonna be guys in the comments always saying, "Oh well, it's not supposed to be. It's a different universe. It's not supposed to be exactly like comics." Even though I've never claimed that it should be exactly like the comics or anything like that, you're going to get those weirdos that say stupid shit like that. So just expect that. At this point, I'm tired of having to repeat my positions for newbies that may be new to my channel or new to my videos and new to my stances. So it is what it is. But at least for me, I don't like that. And so I didn't like this version of Spider-Man anyway. But I would love to see a more adult Spider-Man. And if Sony's going to bring that to us, maybe with Venom, clashing with Venom, we got Carnage. Maybe we get that. And I would love that. I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't want to feel like the character has to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, though I would like him to be. I have to be very clear on that. So it's an unfortunate situation. But I'm a little like, just because I didn't like the character in the first place. I'm not that fond of him. And I would like a more adult Spider-Man. And that's just where I'm at. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? I know there's a lot of fucking normies that are fucking pissed on Twitter. They're like going crazy. Boycott Sony, those assholes. They stand like crazy. So that's gonna be funny to me. But it's weird in a sense when you consider that Disney has been notorious, certainly in recent years, and getting control of all these characters, right? They're getting control of like franchises and characters, and they seemingly lost one. Hey man, nothing's forever, right? So just because you don't stop top don't mean you got to stay there. So we'll see what happens. Y'all let me know in the comments where you're at with it. Peace.